Ladies, what do you think about when you hear the term man or men? Hopefully, it's not the superficial things like the six pack, the six figures, or the six. Well, let's see, we got six pack, six figures, and 6 feet, right? And that's the devil number. Y'all know that. So, therefore, y'all should not be thinking superficial. Men are not superficial. Men, in my opinion, are multi-dimensional. So let's get rid of all the stigmas today because it's Men's Health Month. It's coming to an end, but that means we need to educate ourselves properly for the future. Stay tuned. Welcome to another episode of Chelsea's Live Line. I'm so happy to have you here. Today is June 29th. Like I said, we're wrapping up Men's Health Month, but we still have to educate ourselves because we don't know everything. But the best thing for me to do is to ask a man, right? That's what we have to do. We can't just guess and assume certain things. We have to go to the source. So that's why I have a special guest on today. And I want to get started by saying shout out to everybody who's in this chat, such as Harrison Family Values, my guy Dre, as well as Chavez for tuning in. I truly appreciate y'all's support today. Thank you for being here. All right, let's get started with the word of the day, which is coming from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 9 and 10 NIV, which says the following. Chapter 2, as I said, of Corinthians, or chapter 12, excuse me, but verse 9 says the following. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Verse 10 says, that is why for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Again, that's 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 9 through 10. All right. So let's get started with this episode. Again, the episode title, as you may have seen, is called The Mask of Masculinity. And let me tell you a little bit more about that title. So my special guest today, his name is Dr. Eddie Connor Jr. Okay, he's from Detroit. He told me he's from the East Side, and I'm a West Sider, but we still love each other at the end of the day, East or West, it really doesn't matter. So shout out to him for that. But being a Detroiter, so that was just one check. This man here is a cancer survivor, y'all, 22 years. Okay, 22-year cancer survivor. So shout out to him for that. Stage 4, y'all. Nothing but the grace of God. In addition, he is a 14 times best-selling author, y'all. Come on. It's about the starting and it's about the finishing. It's one thing for people to start something, but it's another for people to finish. I give him all the kudos and respect for that. I could keep going on and on because he has so many hats that he wears. I don't know how he made the time out to be on this episode, but I'm extremely grateful for that as well, all right? Without further ado, I'm going to get started by playing a clip from Dr. Eddie on one of his previous speeches that he gave, talking about how he dealt with stage 4 cancer and how he really didn't have that support system that he wanted, but how he persevered nevertheless because he had God and his mother on his side. So stay tuned for that.
I'd be in that cancer center. My mind was rushing everywhere, thinking about my parents' divorce, thinking about where is my dad? Never showed up for me one day in the hospital. Between my earthly father and my heavenly father, I was mad at both of them. To say, my God, why have you forsaken me? The people who I thought were praying for me were literally praying on me, whispering behind my back, saying, Eddie's not going to make it. And now that doubt seeped into my mind. But I'm grateful for a praying mama. I don't know about you, but my mama prayed for me. I remember her praying for me, had me on her mind, took the time to pray for me. She said, son, you got to go to Psalm 118 and 17, which says, you shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. She said, son, everybody gets knocked down in life, but a knockdown is not a knockout unless you stay down. The canvas is no place for a champion. You got to get back up, bounce back from a setback, and fight again. And each and every single day, I began to stop feeling sorry for myself because I was so depressed. I was so discombobulated. I wanted to give up. I wanted to throw in the towel. I didn't even want to be here. But it was a mother's love for me that made me fight and not give up, but hope against all hope.
That's deep right there. So that's just a snippet. I had to find a good snippet that I could use for today's show to really give the chance for you to see who Dr. Eddie is. And you'll get the chance to know him more because I'm going to formally introduce him on my show.
A
I
little
heard you for.
technical difficulties.
It's
Little
okay.
technical
Hey.
difficulty. Devil is
Oh,
a
here you
lie,
go.
but I
Welcome.
was saying I'm glad to be able to be with you and your audience tonight and be able to share Chelsea's live line. I like that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, we can hear you and
Absolutely.
look, we can see you moving in real time. So perfect. What I want to do
Perfect.
first is get to know who Dr. Eddie Connor is without all of the accolades. Because I know you have a lot of accolades, but I want to know who you are just in general. If we take away all the accolades, who is Dr. Eddie Connor Jr. or who is Eddie Connor Jr.?
I'm really a laid back guy, cool, calm, collected. And, I love sports. I'm a sports aficionado. Grew up playing basketball and
Same here.
love,
Same here.
yeah, yeah. Love watching the NBA. So, make sure if you coming out on the court with me, Chelsea, double tape, double duct tape your ankles.
Oh,
'Cause
okay. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm gonna put you in a post and I'm gonna give you a little AI crossover.
Look, I was at
Uh,
forward and center, so we'll see about that one.
okay, okay, okay. Bet it up, bet it up. So, real determined, real driven. I just love to connect with people too. So,
Awesome. I love that. It's about the
yeah.
determination. And we can see that through everything that you've been through, especially with
Mhm.
stage 4 cancer and being 22 years cancer free. So you put the can in cancer. I love it. I remember
Yeah,
watching that
yeah.
in one of your speeches. Awesome. Awesome. All right.
Absolutely.
Next question I have for you is how are you doing? Because we ask people a lot of times, how are you doing? And we get the automated telephone response of, oh, I'm doing fine. I'm good. But I would love to know how you are when it comes to your spiritual, your mental, emotional, and physical health. Because to me, that makes a whole individual.
Oh, without a doubt. And, one thing that I'm still learning is balance and self-care. And being able to not feel bad for taking a day off, and actually getting rest, and that's, the type of rest spiritually, mentally, socially, emotionally, that is necessary. We can be so busy that we're not productive. And so learning how to have a healthy balance so I'm not burning the candle on both ends, early
Right.
mornings, late nights, work, 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 is more than just making a living. It's about making a life. Yeah,
Amen to that. So when it comes to your spirituality, you are a minister. Is that correct?
that's correct. Yes, yes.
Awesome. Okay.
I grew up in the church. Um, Preached my first message. My first speaking engagement was in a church.
Nice.
Was with cancer in my body when I was a kid in Jamaica, where my father's side is from. So, the grace of God has been the resounding anthem and theme for my life. I saw you reading the scripture about His grace is sufficient for you. I was
Yes.
mentoring a guy just yesterday, and he just told me, he said, "Hey, man, I just feel so weak sometimes." And after giving him some consolation, some encouragement, I told him, "Hey, you know what? Really, when you're weak, you're in the perfect place and position because you're
Yes, you're
not
right.
relying on your own strength. You're not relying on God's strength. His grace, is sufficient for you. His strength is made perfect in your weakness. And so, being able to rely on Him and not just yourself is
Yes, that's
what I've
right.
learned to do, and the message I tell to other people too.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that you're a mentor. We'll get into that as well with this particular episode. I would love to know next, how was your journey from childhood to manhood while being raised by your mother, who was a single mother?
Yeah, when you think about it, 85% of, rather 65% of the children who look like you and me are born without fathers. Roughly 85% of the children on the east side of Detroit, where I live, um, are living in single parent mother homes. Me being raised by a single mother, praying woman who really encouraged me. As I said before in the clip, a knockdown is not a knockout unless you stay down. You got to get back up again. As Muhammad Ali said, the canvas is no place for a champion. And so the question becomes, how do you play a role when you weren't given a script? How do you become a man if you don't see one, much less interact with one? And the transition from boyhood to manhood was rather tough. Boys to Men some years ago had a song called Khalil. No one
Yes.
to guide me, I'm all alone. I need shelter from the rain to ease the pain of changing from boys to men. And oftentimes, as boys becoming men, we're not given that space and place to be vulnerable. Oftentimes vulnerability and masculinity cannot coexist in the same space. Oftentimes that vulnerability is seen as femininity. Don't cry, man up, stop being a punk. uh, Only girls cry. And they told you that when you were 4, expecting you to be 44. I'm a boy,
Mm.
not a man. How do I move from boyhood to manhood and still understand that me releasing tears is not something that's feminine, it's something that's human?
There you go. Human.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to learn all of that, and I look back in retrospect because I wasn't really thinking that at all. I was in all of the pain inside, and was hurting internally, and it was a tough transition for me, a tough shift. But thank God for positive male mentors who came into my life, like my grandfather. He taught me how to tie a tie. He told me, he said, "Hey, Eddie, you don't have to tell anybody how good you are. If you're good at what you do, they'll tell you." So beyond his words, it was his works that modeled
Yes.
manhood for me.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it. It's all about mentorship because it's one thing to
yeah,
not have a father, but you have the mentors who step up in that place and show you what a man's supposed to be like. Like you said before, you can't talk about mental health without mentioning the word men. You can't talk about
yeah.
mentors without mentioning the word men. So it's so important that
Facts.
men stand up, step up, and talk about their experiences so that you can be able to grow through that. I love it. And I see some of these comments coming in where they're asking me how tall am I because I said I was a forward and center. Back in high school, I'm only 5'7.5", so that's that.
Okay,
5'7.5".
okay.
Mm-hmm. And
Hey,
then my cousin's like, my money on Chelsea. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
it,
We'll see though. We'll see.
it
We'll
ain't
see
about
one
height,
day.
it's about heart. There it is.
Oh, okay. That hard work. I hear you. Shout out to
Yeah,
my
for
cuz
sure.
King Hanny. Peace, love, and blessings. I appreciate you. But yes, it's so important that we get mentors. It's never too late for us to get mentors as women, as men. Just reach out to somebody, whether it's a pastor, family friend, anybody you can think of. But let me tell you that there is a mentor program called Boys to Books. Dr. Eddie Connor is the founder of that. So you'll be hearing more information about how your young men can get involved because it's never too late. And what would you, because
Absolutely.
have you had the chance to meet your father before, Dr. Eddie?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. My parents were together for some years, married for years. They divorced when I was about 12 years of age. And so,
Okay.
when he was there, he wasn't there though.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't not always emotionally present, spiritually, uh, present, all that. And so, I had to forgive him, especially going through cancer,
Mm-hmm.
coming out of it. I had bitterness and things of that nature. But sometimes you got to forgive people who may never give you an apology. Years later, he did, give an apology, and we have an amicable relationship. But
Mm-hmm.
you think about certain times in your life where you wanted him to be there, where you wanted him to come to your basketball game, where you wanted him
Yes.
when you see the older dude bringing his the father bringing his son into the barber shop, and he got his hand on his head and he controlled the head like it's a remote control. Like, just come on, little, come on, son.
Mm-hmm.
There are those times where you don't have that, and so some things you may never get over. You just have to manage, and you have
Mm.
to work through, and you have to heal from it, and
Right.
then now be to someone else what someone might not have been in you.
Yes. Amen to
Yeah,
that. So
that's
is
what it's
he
about.
currently in your life to the point where y'all have a relationship going on?
Not necessarily. We'll talk on some holidays. Hit him up for his birthday. He'll call me on mine.
Mm-hmm.
Just called him on Father's Day.
Mm.
Honor thy father.
Yeah. There
You know
you
what I'm
go.
saying?
You'll be
So,
blessed. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, it's no bad blood at all.
Mm.
I know, certain places and spaces of communication only going to go so far.
Nice.
But
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is on that, and you just move forward. And I'm grateful because when Father forsake you, the Lord will raise you up, and He'll also
Mm.
raise up people to surround you, men as well of courage, men of integrity, to help model and give sound insight, wisdom, and mentorship.
Yes. So, what would you want your father to know about you? Because the reason I ask this is only because of the fact that you say it's not really a close relationship like that. So, what would you want him to know about Eddie Connor Jr., right? Because he is Eddie Connor. So, what would you want him to know about you?
Uh, you know, everything I wasn't made me everything I am. You know, I guess I'd want him to know I somewhat psychologically compete against him. I wanted to be better than him. And I think the greatness of a parent is they want their children to go farther than they do. It comes from this statement: we're born looking like our parents, but we live or die looking like our decisions. And so I decisively made a distinction in my life to say I want to do more than what he does. I want to be better than who he is, and I want to chart my own course. For so many years, I got tired of the junior behind my name,
Yeah. Yeah.
and still people still do that. But that's who I am, and to that degree, I made a decision beyond me looking like him. I want to chart my own course and be my own man, and so everything I'm not made me everything I am.
Yes, you have your own
Yeah.
identity. You have your own
Right,
identity. And I
right.
understand with the aspect of the junior, but still, you're paving
Yeah.
a totally different name for Eddie Connor. So you're making a
No.
legacy of your own. And we'll be talking about that soon as well because everybody's loving the testimony so far. So I'm thankful for that. And the Harrison family values said he can relate to this story as well because he was raised up by mentors, men who stepped in and
Hmm.
did what they had to do. So he's grateful because he said he can't dwell on that. It's all about how you move forward. And that's why I salute you for that as well, and
Yeah, yeah.
honoring thy father regardless of whatever happened in the past. That hurts you if you continue to hold on to such a thing, for sure.
Yeah, I've been
And
asked some pretty interesting questions throughout the course of my life and interviews. That is one of the most interesting ones I've been asked. So
really
kudos to you.
awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that. I always think
yeah,
about that. I was like, yeah, this is probably something he hasn't been asked before. But it's
yeah, definitely.
important that you answer the question when it comes to the fact that your father should know about you. There are gaps, and he should know about you more than just
Hmm.
what your name is. And you shouldn't just talk on occasions. But we'll pray for that because the thing is like you're a valuable guy. So I pray that that can relationship can be strengthened for sure. My next
Oh yeah.
question is, how did you feel the void of not having your father in your life during that time? As you saw and you were
Hmm.
comparing maybe other friends' relationships with their fathers to yours, how did you feel that void?
Yeah, growing up, I think when you don't have that model in your life, whether it's, the mother or whether it's the father, you do have those mother wounds, you do have those father wounds, and the healing is important because if you don't heal, you will eventually bleed on people who didn't cut you. Sigmund Freud said we are in adulthood what we have experienced in childhood, and what I was experiencing, the stress, the angst, the anxiety, the low self-esteem and self-confidence as a kid. I looked for, the model of manhood on TV. You look for it in the hood, you look for it in the community, you look for it. Unfortunately, oftentimes the D-boys become the OGs become,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
main people who you look
What you
to.
see.
Mine was Michael Jordan. I mean, I was pretty much from about, I don't know, maybe 96 on. I watched every game that man possibly played, you
Wow.
know, um, and I saw that competitive drive. And of course, every kid grew up trying to be like Mike. The only one who probably ever came close to it was Kobe Bryant, rest in peace
Mm.
himself.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I found out how to not just be like Mike, but be my own self, and find that competitive drive. How can I continue to will myself and have a mentality that says I won't quit, I won't give up. I use that mentality to beat cancer. And I saw that flu game in '97. Little did I know the next year, in '98, I'd be diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. It was more than just a flu game for me. It really became, how do I motivate myself to push through, a diagnosis and, deleterious thoughts and mental discombobulation and people who I thought were praying for me, were literally praying on me. And, my father never visited me one day in the hospital. and just me and my mom, and just, losing my hair, my self-confidence, my self-esteem, wanting to give up, wanting to throw in the towel. I had to find that desire on the inside, of course, relying on faith in God. I shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. Psalm
Right.
118:17. My own mama
Mm-hmm.
praying for me and praying me through what I went through, and loving myself enough to say, I'm going to overcome what's beating me internally, and literally find that canning cancer, you know.
Yes. I love
So
it. I
yeah,
love it. It's about staying focused and finding that why, like you said, behind it.
right,
Why should I
right.
continue, especially when all the doubts seem to be in my favor? But hey, you had God in your favor too, and like you said, your mother who
Yeah,
encouraged you to pray and allowed you to stand strong in the midst of it. Awesome. One
absolutely,
of the next
absolutely.
questions I had for you is: do you have any children of your own?
No, I don't have any children.
Okay.
I used to taught for about 12 years at local high school,
Mm-hmm.
and those became my kids. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
My mentees, to a certain degree, become
Right.
like children to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a father. I'm just a father figure.
Yes, yes. All right. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you were
yeah.
to have a son one day, what attributes of yours would you want him to have?
Here goes one of them questions again. That's good. That's good.
Thanks.
Wow. I'd want them to have that determination that I have. That competitive drive and desire to, not just compete against other people, but to compete against himself, to collaborate, to think bigger than just beyond circumstances and battles, and have a creative mindset. Be intuitive. Imagine, stretch his imagination. Think bigger than his budget or his bank account, and just uh, really be cool, calm, and collected. Just kind of be a laid back son. Um, and then, just hopefully have a love for sports too.
Right. There
You
you
know what
go.
I'm saying? Yeah,
That's
I'd
right.
want to have a love for sports. Would love to, teach him how to shoot the basketball, dribble, and all
Mm-hmm.
that. And
Yeah, that's
yeah,
good stuff
probably be
right there.
joined at the hip. You know.
Right. There you go. There you go. So
Yeah,
your favorite
yeah.
basketball player is MJ for sure.
Yeah, I think he's the GOAT of the last two generations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
At first,
know,
I was
he's
thinking. I mean, I love
yeah,
MJ and definitely Kobe as well. But I did like. Well, I do like LeBron James. But at this point in time, over time, he's been degrading in a way. So it's like I don't know. But LeBron is one of my favorites as well. I know a lot of people have a LeBron beef, but
yeah,
that's one of my faves. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I think Steph is gonna have more rings at retirement than LeBron
Yeah.
is, but that might be for another conversation.
I agree. I agree. Awesome.
When
Yeah,
you
those
talk
are some
about
good. Yeah.
underdog, and I always saw myself as an underdog,
Mm.
still do in many
Yeah.
cases, and I love the underdog,
And
and his
it's a good
story is one of
feeling.
them.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Because they never know what's
without a doubt.
next. They never know what's next
Never
for the
know,
underdog. So that's what I love
never
about
know.
it. And when it comes to mentors, I know you're mentioning that you had some mentors. Could you tell me about the mentors that you had who really helped and shaped into who you are today?
Yeah, definitely my grandfather, rest in peace. I would say, of course, him, but also my former high school principal, Mr. Herb Ivory, who um, knew of my battle and bout with cancer. I had to be on the homebound program during my high school year, sophomore year of high school, and he came and visited me. He really, in the midst of thousands of kids that he had in the school, he sought me out, and still to this
Wow.
day, we'll go to lunch, we'll break bread, we'll get on the phone, talk, and he offer a lot of sound wisdom and advice. So my grandfather Harry Smith Jr., Mr. Herb Ivory, also another businessman who I know kind of like a father figure to me as well, Mr. Jay Melton, who's a business owner. He throws a Juneteenth celebration. I just spoke at it in Ann Arbor a few weeks ago, and honored Father's Day on that Juneteenth day. He's just always been a model of excellence, and his wife of 40 years, um, looking at that marriage and all the ups and downs that sometimes marriage can bring, and see how they continue to celebrate and love each other. you know, beautiful benefit and a blessing. None of
Yeah.
these individuals are billionaires, got their name on a fellowship hall wall and all that
Hmm.
other stuff, but they're true to who they are, and that is you can't put a dollar sign on that. That's priceless.
No, you can't. It's all about the
Yeah,
knowledge transfer that you're
yeah,
getting from them. And it's a two-way relationship, two-way street. You're benefiting and they're also benefiting from the knowledge you bring to the table too. So I love that.
without a doubt.
And then Chavez had said, I love the way I've heard this man getting stronger, trusting God, overcoming cancer, becoming a mentor, forgiving his dad. Salute. We're giving you the salute today because that's strong.
Appreciate it. Salute back to that brother too. Appreciate you,
Yes.
brother Chavez. Thank you.
Yes, that's right. Because mentorship is so important. I'm telling you, help you guide. Because there's in Proverbs, it talks about mentorship so many times where it just says that you have to
Hmm.
not have wicked counsel, okay? And plans may fail unless you have, strong advisors to guide you along the way. So that's ever so
Yeah.
important. And he said,
Oh,
he also said,
absolutely.
you can tell that he's walking in the peace that comes from Jesus. Oh yeah, he's calm, cool,
Oh
collected over here,
yeah.
all because of Jesus Christ. That's right.
Without a
I
doubt.
love it.
In the multitude of counselors, there is safety, and you
Yes,
know,
thank you.
Jesus, the Lord is the friend that sticketh closer than any brother for sure. So
Hello. That's right. Preach
yeah,
it. Preach
yeah,
it. Let's talk
yeah,
about boys to books. I didn't say boys to men. I said boys to books. Let's get into
yeah.
it. This is Dr. Eddie Connor Jr.'s Boys to Books program, which is a mentorship program for young men. So I really want to ask him more about this, why he decided to found this program and whatnot. So let's get into Boys to Books. Tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can't really be a success without a successor. And one of the things,
Yeah,
excuse me, is
take that
that
water
Boys to
break.
Books provides, yeah, Boys to Books provides an opportunity to really mentor my younger self vicariously through these young brothers. Um, I started Boys to Books as a teacher, and I said I needed to do more than just teach from 8 to 3 every day. These brothers need some assistance, they need some help, they need some resources. And so what I decided to do was just develop an after school program as I was doing my master's, focus on reading and literacy. And I saw that illiteracy and incarceration were interconnected. We always want to focus on prevention. We always want to focus on rehabilitation, but why not prevention? The preschool, not just the school to prison pipeline, the preschool to prison pipeline. Uh, the prisons being built based on second and third grade reading scores, and young black brothers being disproportionately warehoused in the prison industrialized complex at a disproportionate rate. And so I said, we it's not just a dropout rate, there's a push out rate because nobody wants to deal with Pookie and Ray Ray. Nobody wants to deal with Jalen and Jaquez, you know what I'm saying? And all the brothers who look like me, they just want to pass him through school. And
Yes.
they don't realize he's got a reading disability or his emotional disability, whatever, emotional disturbances, whatever the case may be. But there's a root of many of those issues. And so I developed this program, Boys to Books, focused on literacy, leadership, and life skills enrichment. Really to show our brothers what it takes to shift from boyhood to manhood and how to do that respectfully, responsibly. What it is to tie a tie, but not just tie a tie, be tied to success. We always penalize our brothers for their sagging pants
Right.
and their sagging grades, but they coming from sagging homes. They coming
Mm.
from sagging
Talk about it.
communities. If we pull up the homes, if we pull up the church, if we pull up the schools, they'll pull up their grades and they'll eventually pull up their pants. So actually seeing the positive that's in our brothers and speaking life into their life, that's really what the genesis and the journey of really Boys to Books is all about and connecting them to books. Reading is not an effeminate thing. It's
No,
how
it's
you get
not.
knowledge. It's
Mm.
how you grow and you develop your character as a boy becoming a man.
Yes, I totally agree with that because it's not a feminine thing whatsoever. There are men
Yeah,
authors, obviously, talking to Dr. Eddie Connor, 14 times best-selling
yeah.
author. Okay, y'all. So y'all need to get on his books, and I'll be putting information at the bottom about that. DrEddieAcademy.com very soon. What ages do you mentor for Boys to Books?
Yeah, initially it was just 13 to 17. But, if you're really thinking about that second and third grade reading scores, I had to go, you reach lower. And, say as early as the age of 6 now.
Awesome.
I've been doing some mentoring. At one point, I was doing some mentoring for a group of about 10 young guys, and they were all between the ages of 6 and 13,
Mm, awesome.
and you're just seeing that the need is great, you know, amongst all the age groups and gaps, and doing as best as I possibly can to provide that, and then bringing other brothers around them as well, so that they can see a diversity of what Black excellence is all about.
Yes, Black excellence. That's the key. And how can
Yeah.
boys and men find out more about your program who may be interested in signing up for it in the future?
Oh, absolutely. Just email. Send an email. Um, info at eddieconnor.com. I've got a assistant who helps me with many of the things with my mentorship group and speaking and all that. Info at eddieconnor.com. And then also they can just go to my website, eddieconnor.com as well, where they'll see some information about Boys to Books as well on there.
Awesome. Perfect, perfect. Make sure y'all check this out, y'all. EddieConnor.com, DrEddieAcademy.com. There's many sources and ways that you can get in contact with Dr. Eddie, which you will see today. Perfect. Okay, Boys to Books. And what sparked your interest to become a mentor? Was it because of the fact that you had other mentors in your life? Or why? What sparked that interest to say, hey, Eddie, I will be a mentor, I'll decide to be a mentor?
Yeah, it really started. I was a student at Eastern Michigan University, and I stayed on campus during the summertime. And for me to stay on campus, because I was going to drop out, I didn't have the money. I had to become a mentor. I had to become a resident assistant and resident advisor. But in that aspect, I had to connect with summer camps with young kids and show them what the university is all about, why they should go to college, why we need more Black presence on campuses. And I started just to get a liking for empowering many of the young people. They would go through a 4 week um, training. I was going to say training camp, but summer camp.
Mm-hmm.
And and at the end of the 4 weeks, many of the mentors like myself would do this graduation where we'd speak life into their lives, and I would just prepare a speech, and I'd go in and just really empower them. And I said, I think I like this, and so the mentorship went into education, and Boys to Books even materialized into another form, which is Gifted for Greatness, where we focus on
Nice.
our responsibility, identity, success, and education. And so they can find out more about Gifted for Greatness as well, which is really the brother of Boys to Books. And so dreddieacademy.com /GFG to get some information, more insight about Gifted for Greatness as well. So,
Awesome. I love it.
yeah.
Boys to Books, Gifted for Greatness. There's so many opportunities for our men to get exposure to what a man's supposed to be like at an early age. Because I'm telling you, if you don't keep people focused, people will try to keep your child focused. Okay, so therefore, it's
That
best
is
to get
right.
involved with mentorship programs. I was a part of mentorship programs ever since I could remember because it's all about the foundation. Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they grow old, they will not depart. Proverbs 22:6. So y'all know that it's best to get started early, and that's what we're trying to expose you to those resources here. All right. So at this point, it is going to be break time. It's going to be break time. So stay tuned for my break time announcement on Chelsea's Live Line. It's time. It's time. It's time, y'all. It's Chelsea's Live Line break time. That means you need to get your snack refills on, your food refills on, and your drink refills on. Because I know you over there eating on something. Mm-hmm. I know you are. I know you're over there drinking on something. Because if I wasn't doing this episode right now, that's exactly what I would be doing, feeding myself physically. But not only should you be feeding yourself physically, you should be feeding yourself spiritually. And that's what I'm trying to do for y'all today. So I hope y'all have really been enjoying this content today. If you have, please make sure to hit that like button for me because that helps the algorithm know that I am producing great content. So thank you so much for that. In addition, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you're not already part of the Chelsea's Live Line fam, it's never too late. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can know that I go live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST. Lastly, I don't want you to be the only ones who receive this content. So if you have some friends, some kins, or maybe some enemies who need this lesson today, who need this word today, let's feed them as well. So make sure you send that video out to them, send this link out to them, so therefore they can be aware of the content that I'm producing, and we can be able to have more followers of Christ in the community. Thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you so much. Let's get back to this episode because I'm enjoying it, and I hope you are as well. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to bring my guest, Dr. Eddie Connor, back. That was our commercial break. I hope that y'all have enjoyed it. This is the first time I had a commercial break on my show, but I thought it was fitting. Again, here's the Family Values talking about you be eating during my lives too. I may be doing that, a little snack here and there, but regardless, Miss Tracy said great conversation. So let's bring our guest back onto the show. From the backstage to the main stage, Dr. Eddie Connor. All right. Yes. Let's get into the rest of this conversation because so far we talked about the mentorship, the childhood to the manhood. But I want to talk more about how women can support men because I hear a lot of times that men say they just want peace. And I think it's time that we address that. So first thing, before I get into the question, I wanted to say that today's societal theme is more of a, what can you do for me mindset. It's not about what can I do for you? How can I be a servant for you? And most women think that men should be the ones that are providing, that should be doing everything in a relationship. And I just bring myself because I am the table. But I think we need to get rid of that stigma today, throw that in the garbage, and live by something different. But because I think in a relationship it takes two. So the question I have for you, Dr. Eddie, is how can women genuinely support our men today? Because they need that support.
Yeah, I think one thing is dwelling according to knowledge. I think we really have to get a good understanding of the sexes. We have to get a good understanding of as men. We have to understand how women communicate. As women need to understand how us as men communicate as well. Generally, us as men, we communicate from a place of um, just facts. Women more so feeling oriented. Women use more words in a day than a man does. It's been statistically proven. I think also being able to create a safe space and place for a man to be able to be vulnerable, to be able to open up. One thing I think is that us as men, we're so used to being able to be Superman that we don't always know how to be Clark Kent around somebody else. We're always wearing the cape, and Superman can fly all day. He needs a soft space and place to be able to land. So being able to speak to the champion that's in a man. In every kid, there's a king. Every king, there's a kid. And oftentimes, when brothers are socialized to always be tough and always be strong, don't cry, don't be a punk, stand up, be a man, it's not always a brother telling them that. Sometimes it's a woman telling him that.
Yep.
Sometimes it
Yep.
was his mama telling him that. And so, if he's been so communicatively deficient as a kid, when he gets to you in a relationship, you can't expect him to open up. He's been so socialized 20, 30 years on how to not open up. And oftentimes, men, we don't verbalize, we internalize. The worst thing a man can do is to be so locked in that he doesn't know how to come out. And so
Mm.
being able to find freedom emotionally, be able to assist in that. And then I think there's a good metaphor for this. A man is like a boxer. He doesn't want to have to fight in the ring and in the corner too. In the
Right.
ring
There you
is when he
go.
knows he's gonna get hit. When I'm in the world, I know I'm gonna face racism. I know I'm gonna face slander. I know I'm gonna have to be dodging some things. But when I'm when I'm in the corner, I don't need you to cut me. I need you to be my cut man. I need
Yes.
you to bandage me up. I need you to bandage my bruises. I need you to speak life into me and tell me, champ, keep going. Right. And so it's kind of like the Muhammad Ali Bundini thing. Have you ever seen the movie Ali? Bundini was always cheering Ali on and telling him got to keep going. And so I think sisters have to be able to do that and speak life into the lives of us as men. And you'll see a
Yes.
different change in them as a result.
Right. Because the world is already
Yeah,
tearing y'all down enough. So
without a
where
doubt.
is that support? I love that when you gave the whole boxing example. I'm in the corner. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be relaxed, and I didn't expect a knockout in the corner. I expected to
Yeah.
be able to
Don't.
relax, get myself back up, and generate it again so I can go back out in this world, go back out in the
Yeah.
ring, and be able to do what I needed to do. But on the corner, I'm relaxing. So I'm not, this is unexpected. I agree. I love that analogy a lot. So that's
Facts.
perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to support our men, ladies, and I'm happy to have y'all on in the conversation. Y'all are in the chat. I do see y'all here, And shout out to Cure for the Soul Ministries for tuning in as well. Yes, we're just getting into the second part of this conversation. The next question I have is that before I even get into it, the world we live in today, social media is driven, and what comes with that is sometimes lust. Lust sometimes comes into the picture when you're dealing with social media and the exposure that women are doing with their bodies nowadays. And I want to know, excuse me, as a Christian man, like how do you stay grounded in a lust-filled world when there may be temptation around you? I think that's really breaking up a lot of
Yeah,
relationships, what could be, because people aren't focusing on, one task at a time. They're really distracted with everything that's going on.
without a doubt. James, the book of James talks about every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. It's not necessarily anybody else's, it's your own. It's what you are driven to. You can't make anybody buy a suit or a dress that they don't like. It is what I'm enticed by. You got the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life. All of those things become deleterious to your spiritual connection to God and your growth. And so being able to literally put filters on your own, your eyes, your spirit, your soul, being able to guard all of that, I think is a daily practice every single day. Making sure that you are in check and in alignment, and then also making sure that you keep yourself busy, you hold yourself accountable, you set up and you create healthy boundaries for yourself. Everybody can't handle being around a certain type of people at night. Everybody can't handle going to certain places.
Mm-hmm.
To being able to keep yourself active. Me, I go to the gym at least 5, 6 days a week.
Hey, all
You
right,
know,
same here.
I
I'm with you.
yeah, I stay active. It helps my mind. It helps me be disciplined. It helps my body. Helps my spirit. Sometimes I'm on the elliptical machine reading the word, or just listening to something that's going to edify me. Watching what I eat and consume. I think if you control your fork, you can control your flesh. Yeah.
That's a word.
Yeah. If you can control your fork, you can control your flesh. I think it's knowing what your appetite is, and not just physically with what the food that you eat. Is also spiritual. Sometimes you have to starve yourself to the world's dictates in the flesh, so that your spirit can arise. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is indeed weak. And so you got to strengthen your inner man if you're going to be able to stand.
I love it. I love it. I see
Yeah.
these comments. Yes. Shout out to Proverbs 17:11 who say, God bless you all. God bless you as well. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, it's very important because it's one thing, everybody can be tempted, but it's what you do with
Yeah.
that temptation that kind of determines your character, I feel like.
Right.
Because a lot of people are
Absolutely.
falling into the temptation and then they're committing the sin when they further lust. Okay, so we just got to realize, y'all, that we can help ourselves, we can save ourselves by putting God first and definitely staying grounded in His Word at all times. Because it's not just about reading the Bible in the morning. You can read in the morning, but be tempted at night. So you got to read that
Hmm.
Word whenever you feel tempted, okay? Because just know that, consider it pure joy when we go through those trials, those tribulations, because it's building that perseverance, okay? Just to let y'all know.
Absolutely.
Next thing I want to talk about is that today's women are more attracted to the hood guys who have the tendency to be broken. Not all hood guys, but some good hood guys have the tendency to be broken, while the good guys are healed. But women are usually repelling what's healed and attracting what needs to be healed, what's broken. And I would love to know, like, when it comes to the whole Future versus Russell debate, right? It's like a lot of women just say that, okay, Future is what I want to be. I want to be baby mama number 9 because he has 8 currently. And I just think that the mindset of women today is really messing up the reason why we have the 85% of single parent households, because we're not thinking. We're letting lust lead the conversation. So what I want to say about that is just that, Future, he's model citizen for women who are who want to be single mothers because of the fact 8 kids, 8 baby mamas. But then Russell on the flip side had no kids at the time and was divorced but deemed as a simp or whatever the case may be. So I just want to know, how can a woman make a clear distinction between a broken man and a healed man?
Yeah, I think when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I think it is about the lens that you look through life. And a lot of times we've been socialized, especially in our communities, to only go after a certain type of guy, to only go after a certain type of girl because you see that image on social, on not just social media, but on your TV screen and how you've been socialized with that. I think one thing is, if if for a man, if or a woman, if P Valley only becomes the place where you see life through, you're gonna always remain in the valley and not
Hello,
just on the
hello.
mountaintop. So I think when you begin to heal, when you heal, it changes your appetite. When you heal, now you desire certain things differently. For the brothers who may, deem themselves or see themselves, or sisters who just want a thug, really, maybe the thug just needs a hug.
Mm.
Maybe he's just so acting so tough because it goes back to this, the mask of masculinity. Masculinity is pronounced as a mask. And so, because I have to wear this mask, I'm going to act tough. I'm going to be hypersexual. I'm going to overdo everything to fit this image because this is what it seems as if only women want. So, I'll become that. I'll become a chameleon and I'll betray the essence of who I am. I'll harden myself externally and emotionally, only be the future, but really I'm not really future. I'm not walking in my future. I'm literally connected to my past.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. I'm past. I'm
Yeah,
not future.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then that's another thing. You have no future with future. You may have a future, but
That's
it may
right.
not be the future that you desire. That's what you got to
Right.
realize. And then somebody said
Exactly.
that they're hearing now that they want Tupac in a suit. That's what people are saying. They want Tupac in a suit. All right. I mean, you may be able to get it. But they say if they want a thug, both the thug and his lady need Jesus.
Yeah,
Yes, they
yeah.
got to understand that. Because it's really just like you said, what you see and what you say. A lot of women say, oh, all men are not good. All men are sugar, honey, iced tea. Well,
Mm.
you're going to attract that. What you say is what you're going to
Facts.
see. All right, so ladies, say that there are great men. That's why I told y'all at the beginning of this episode to throw the stigmas out the window, because it's not gonna help you if you want to find a decent man, a healed man, because we attract sometimes what we are. I've heard that as well. What
Yeah,
we
we don't
don't
attract what
know.
we want. We attract who we are. If you're not healed, you're going to attract people who are toxic and they reflect the toxicity that you have internally.
Yes, that's why I believe in therapy.
Yeah.
Amen to that, because it's about the growth for me. Amen, amen, y'all. So y'all learned to hear. Take your notes and watch the replay if you haven't, catch some of those pointers that Dr. Eddie was saying. As a 14 times best-selling author, what is your favorite book that you've written and why?
Let me borrow this line from Tom Brady, who the seven-time Super Bowl champion. My next one.
That part.
Um,
That part. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
no, I have to say it's probably my first one and my current one. My first one was Finding the Can in Cancer, really telling my story of overcoming what seemingly I would have died from, but I lived through those dying places. And then this Mask of Masculinity one, which has really touched not just our brothers, but also our sisters. Um, it took me some years to write because I had to go to a deeper level of vulnerability that I was not necessarily ready for. But the writing, as I was writing, I was healing. It became therapeutic for me to really talk and uncover and unmask a lot of issues that us as men are dealing with. 80% of suicides are committed by men. I said before, 68% of children are born without their fathers. 85% of those who are incarcerated don't know their fathers.
Mm.
And so,
Wow.
being a man is hard work, but it's hard work. And I think the hard work is in healing from the intergenerational trauma, the psychological pain, the emotional incarceration, allowing yourself to feel it. Because as men, we just want to be numb to everything. But actually being able to feel it and understand that you're more than a human doing, you're a human being. Being able to
Yes.
honor your
Mm.
emotions and your humanity is really is the definition of masculinity.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that so much. So you have more books on the way. You said your next one, that's how you started off. So I'm assuming we're not stopping at 14. We have
We're
a
not gonna
goal.
stop. I don't know what's next, but we're not gonna stop.
We not
Can't
stopping,
stop,
y'all.
won't stop.
Yes. All right now.
Yeah,
Cue the music
yeah.
up. But for real though, I agree 100%. Why stop now? There's always
Yeah.
stories to be written. There's always books to be read, y'all. We got to crack open a book so we can learn something. And there's 14 that we could be cracking up open today. And I'm going to be giving away one of those books. So make sure y'all stay tuned. I know y'all are here. Make sure y'all like the video. Connect with Dr. Eddie Connor. You see the information below. So let's keep this episode going. Now that I know that you've mentioned what one of your favorite books is, you know, you mentioned that there's more in store. I want to ask you more about your legacy, because it's all about the legacy we leave, right? You one thing you mentioned is that the junior on the end of your name, that's one thing that you kind of don't like to have, but you get to change that. You get to change that narrative, right, with your legacy. So I would love to know, what do you want your legacy to be as Dr. Eddie Connor?
I think my legacy, I wanted to mirror the original gangster rap revolutionary music of if I can help somebody as I travel alone, then my living won't be in vain. Forward ever, backward never. Being able to elevate people to move their life to the next level and overcome obstacles to pursue their purpose, to really find that their test can become a testimony, their misery can become ministry, their mess is a message, their stumbling block is a stepping stone. God uses their setback as a setup for their greatest comeback. He uses their tragedy as strategy. In the words of Dr. King, just being a drum major for justice. And so, with being in lockstep and walking by faith in the rhythm of God's word and His righteousness, and then also economic empowerment, justice, and sustainability for our community. I think that's my legacy, and that's what I would want it to be.
Awesome. I love it so much. I love it. Different aspects. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, y'all, men are not superficial. Men are multidimensional. And you can hear that just from Eddie's testimony. You can hear the fact that he's multidimensional. He's thinking from every aspect. And that's how you have to be in this world, because this world is multidimensional. We got to get on board and get motivated. And I'll give a quick shout out to my girl, Dinah Reviews. She said, I finally catch it live, and one of the best public speakers in our community, Chelsea. I appreciate that so much. I'm claiming it. Amen. Trying to get like Dr. Eddie over here, because that's who he is as well. Okay, a lot of speaking
Appreciate that.
engagements, doing positive stuff in the community. So I have to salute it here today. This is an important part of the episode, y'all. It is time for the book giveaway. We're going to be giving away one signed copy of Dr. Eddie's book, The Mask of Masculinity. And it's not just for men. That's one thing we didn't mention yet, but it's not just for men, because there are women who can give this to their sons. Women can also learn about how to create that safe space for men. Okay, so we're going to be giving away a book. I want you to type in a hashtag that I'm going to mention in just a bit. All right, here we go. So because the book is called The Mask of Masculinity, the book is called The Mask of Masculinity. Therefore, I thought it would be best to do a hashtag, which is hashtag mask off. Men are officially taking the mask off after today's episode. So if you can type in hashtag mask off into the chat, you'll be able to enter in tonight's giveaway for a signed copy of Dr. Eddie's book. And let me get this background music queued up in the
It is right
meantime. Yes, oh yeah, here's the book. Let's bring him back to the main screen for that. The Mask of Masculinity. Look at that. We're taking mask off all 2022. Yes.
Yeah,
shout
went
out
number
to
one
you.
on Amazon as well. So
Awesome. Number one, y'all.
yeah,
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? So let's go. Type in hashtag mask off into the chat so we can be able to enter you into this giveaway. You can be a woman. You can be a man. I see 2 entries so far. Let's get this thing going. I'm going to do it for the next 30 seconds. Hashtag mask off. We taking the mask off, y'all. It's so important, because all the stigmas, all the stereotypes, they have to be erased. I know somebody would love to have this book today. Yes, yes. So let's just keep it going. I see 4 entries so far, so I see y'all in the chat with the hashtag mask off. And make sure you connect with Dr. Eddie. You see the information below, so we're going to give away this book in just a second. Make sure y'all type it in. I don't want to miss anybody, just in case y'all slow with the fingers. Okay, I see another hashtag mask off. Awesome, awesome. So we're going to get this thing going in about 10 seconds. I see a couple more. All right. And all you got to do is type it in one time, because once you enter it one time, you'll be entered in. Oh, I see 7 entries. All right, I'm closing it off in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And I know you're all delayed as well, but we're going to get to it. All right, y'all. So it's time officially it's time to give away a copy of Dr. Eddie's book, The Mask of Masculinity. All right, here we go. I'm going to hit the draw button right now. Uh-oh. I know y'all see it going. Let's see. Who gets a copy?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Dinah Reviews, shout out to you. I thought my mom was about to win. But shout out to Dinah Reviews. Yes, congratulations, girl, for winning a copy of The Mask of Masculinity. I'm going to let you know where you can get your copy of the book. You just have to email me, chelsea'sliveline@gmail.com. Take a picture of this real quick and email me so you can be able to claim your prize. Yes, let's shout out to her. Cure for the Soul was not happy about that. No, I'm playing. Shout out to her for winning. Shout out to Dinah Reviews. All right. So now that we have given the book away, I just want to thank Dr. Eddie so much after I remove this comment. All right. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a part of today's episode, taking the time out of your schedule to be here and educating our brothers and our sisters. So thank you so much.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for all the work that you do in the community and just the opportunity to be able to spotlight me and share with your audience and really speak truth to power and empower others as well. I'm running very quickly tonight. I got to teach a class at 7 p.m.
Okay,
I'm
awesome.
doing
I'm gonna
a
bring you
session
down
tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll bring you down real quick just to thank you.
If people want to join me in my session tonight, all you have to do is go to dreddieacademy.com. And then, of course, follow me, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at Eddie Connor Jr.
Awesome, y'all. We're going to be ending
you.
this real quick because I want to say something to Dr. Eddie before he leaves. So I'm going to bring him down here to the backstage. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I know he has a speech or whatever to give, information to give. So I'm going to stop this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like this video. I will be back next week for another episode. But make sure you go to my channel because I'll be doing a few feature videos this weekend on Roe v. Wade and also the cancel culture. So stay tuned. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I will see y'all next week on another episode of Chelsea's Live Line.